Becky. Hi, we are discussing this week on our week 3 integrative assignment um, where how our consciousness and our health intertwine in this assignment. But what we're going over mostly is tastes and how they affect our physiology and the inner intelligence. So, first, we're asked to talk about how do we think and taste in Ayurveda. So in Ayurveda, how they think of taste, there's 6 different, they're rasas, what they're called. And we have sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. So that's how they think of taste in Ayurveda. So what does the Ayurvedic perspective is number 2. The perspective on the effects of food. So with Ayurveda and these different tastes, as long as the body is how you apply these tastes, depending on your dosha, your intelligent body, it can properly maintain the body's a healthy state, the body's healthy state. But depending on the food combinations and how they are applied to the doshas, if they're not applied properly, can cause a disturbance in the doshas. So those substances as food or the herbs that you take, one or more tastes, even though they might be combined correctly for your dosha, they could cause something totally different when you're preparing the meals, depending on like the accuracy you're putting into it and what you're paying attention to, what your body likes and not like. So that can determine how your body, your mind, and your just overall state of health and how that affects your consciousness. Because usually what's going on down here in the digestive fire, if it's not taken care of and it's going through all the tissues and whatnot, it leads back up to the brain and that causes issues. So that's how Ayurveda looks at it. So, what is the relationship between food and our inner intelligence and tastes in our food? So, how they put the taste to different tissues, how they affect them, and when we get sour tastes with these rasas, sour tastes stimulate the agni, the digestive fire. They make more, I guess, the fluids in the body. So it's good for the heart, the digestive activity. It makes that hot feeling in the body, and it can be cool to touching. Gives satisfaction, cause moistening, which of course it provides that more fluid, the sour taste. Sour is easy to digest, but it pacifies vata, but aggravates kapha and pitta. It also helps the blood move downward in an inactive vata. So then we've got salty. So salty removes rigidity in the tissues. It clears obstruction in the shrotas, those channels in the body, and increases digestive activity. It lubricates. It causes perspiration. It penetrates into the tissues better, that salty taste. It improves taste, causes maturation or eruption of abscess, which doesn't sound good. So, but you have to be careful on the intake of salt because then it can aggravate the skin and stuff like that, and the blood, cause gas, stuff like that. Then we've got the bitter taste and how it affects the tissues. It can cure anorexia, worms, certain parasites in the body, bacteria, thirst, poison, abstain from skin disease. I guess I might need to work on this on my pitta part of me because I have skin things go on in the summertime. Loss of consciousness, fever, nausea, burning sensation, pacifies pitta and kapha. Ooh. dries up moisture, fat, muscle fat, marrow, feces, urine, and it's easy to digest. It increases that intelligence in those systems. It's cold, dry, purifies breast milk, and cleanses the throat. So those are the systems that it takes care of with the inner intelligence. Then we've got pungent, and pungent cures diseases of the throats, allergic rashes, abstains skin diseases, indigestion, swelling. It reduces the swelling, the ulcers, dries up, unctuousness. It's the oil. I have that problem in the summertime, so I might need a little bit more of that. Indigestion, swelling. We already got that. Fat tissues, moisture, increases hunger, is digestive, improves taste, eliminates doshas, dries up food, breaks up hard masses, and dilates channels, the shrotas, and it pacifies kapha. So somebody with more of a kapha imbalance, of course, pungent's one of the tastes that helps them out. Then we've got astringent, and astringent pacifies pitta and kapha. So the problem is it cleanses the blood, but not so easy to digest depending on how you use it. Causes squeezing and healing of ulcers. It's cold. It's considered cold. Dries up moisture and fat. Hinders digestion of undigested food. Absorbs water. Astringent's dry because usually it's in some spices, and is very cleansing for the skin. So I think those are all of what they take in relation to the tissues. So we know that vata has to have sweet, sour, and salty. That's what pacifies them. And then on pitta, we have sweet, bitter, and astringent that pacifies them. And then kapha is pacified by pungent, bitter, and astringent. So our next question is about the fivefold effect. So on the fivefold effect, what's involved in that is the rasa, the taste, the gunas, the quality of what the food is. So you've got the taste of the food, the quality of the food. You've got the vira, the potency, which is the action that manifests when the food is taken in. But there can also be no action with vira, also depending on how it's combined with the certain foods. You've got vipak, the effect after digestion, and the pravaha, specific effect. So what ends up happening with this fivefold effect when you combine these, when you combine certain tastes, you like sweet and salty, the effect on the digestion, the vipak, is sweet. So that would end up irritating kapha if kapha had it. Now, when you get sour, it automatically goes to sour, which would irritate pitta. And then the taste pungent, bitter, and astringent ends up turning into, on the effect of digestion, pungent, which would end up irritating vata. So with all of these being said, when you have the taste and the gunas, this effect of the food through the vira to the doshas, if everything is either properly done, improperly done, it can cause increase, decrease, balancing, or enlivening. So it's all depending on how you look at the gunas that need to be balanced out, and how the food's prepared and how each one goes together, because they can have certain effects on you. Vira can be hot or cold, heavy or light, smooth or sharp, and have oiliness or dryness. But Vera effect on food is translated into potency. So that's where that taste comes back in, how the blending of the different tastes, depending on what dosha body you're trying to pacify. And then the Vera, like I said, all actions cannot happen without Vera. And then all actions are caused by Vera. So it's like it's a constant balancing act that keeps just happening with this fivefold effect. So after Vera, when you've gotten the food digested and stuff, since it's still creating that action, that's when you see the effect on digestion, that VPAC. And what happens is the effect on our food, on our of our food on our dosha, can manifest into our physiology, and it's how it's been digested into the stomach and the small intestines. So those combinations of those tastes and the qualities in those can have either increase, decrease, balancing, or enlivening on our doshas. So that's what we have to look at every time we prepare food, especially what our emotional state is. So the last effect, what you get after these substances, the food are prepared, the combinations and stuff, is the pravaha. And that is a special and unique effect. So with this pravaha, it is special, the special and unique effect of that food, and when two identical substances in taste, quality, potency, and in post-digestive effect end up together. It's the final effect. So you end up having a different action between these two substances that are put together, that VPAC, and they can create something very good or something that can cause problems later. So that's one thing you have to just be careful with. And what Dr. Hart said is kind of test it, see if you're like one or two ingredients and see if your body's receptive to it, or it's like, nope, not the right combination. So I believe I've answered everything, but thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful evening.